CORE was Congress of Racial Equality, and it was an organization based on the beliefs of Gandhi, because the idea was to confront violence with nonviolence. And that was the way we went about doing whatever it was that our projects were, is if you were challenged in any way, you did not reciprocate. You tried to appease and to be as calm as you could under the circumstances. I was invited to attend a CORE meeting, and that's where I really started to understand that there was something not quite right in the way the social structure was here. Our projects were here in the North, with employment, with housing, with anywhere discrimination affected people. I did go down to Selma, Alabama to participate in the March on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. But it gave me a really interesting insight into the South and the attitudes that existed then, which were somewhat different from the North in that they were more blatant, more overt, and more threatening. We traveled segregated for safety, so the whites traveled separately and the blacks traveled separately. When we got there, it was an interesting situation because it was all centered around the church. It was almost like all around this area, the troopers were stationed. So you had to get through them to get to that particular area where the church was and so on. And that was, of course, where you were name called, for instance, from those individuals. White bitch was always a good one. But what was so particularly heartwarming about that experience was our reception with the black community there. We slept in the church, we were fed by the church, and just so warmly accepted, never as an outsider, as, of course, what we were called. So that was a particularly good part of the experience. What happened, I guess, at the very end was at that point in the movement, Black power became very prominent. And so that attitude came into CORE as well. I mean, it was just a natural thing to have happen, but I guess the way it happened was a little disturbing because we were actually disinvited, you might say, those of us who were white. So rather than cause any kind of problem, most of us did leave at that time. I never gave up, but I think I just focused a little differently then, because when you are part of an organization like that and it becomes, it's almost like a religious experience. It becomes so important to you. When it ceases, you're a little adrift for a while. I don't think you can ever give up, because really, things have changed. There are things that you feel good about, so you can't always focus on the negative, but you can't ignore it.